I want to quickly start by introducing myself. My name is Shruti. I'm part of the worldwide product marketing team in Business Applications Group at Microsoft. And with me today, I have my partner in crime, Satish Thomas, who is the engineering lead for business applications. And I'll be inviting him up on stage shortly to take us through some product awesomeness. So we actually wanted to kick this off by talking about the innovation that we are making in our Dynamics 365 AI portfolio. We've made some substantial and heavy investments across the AI offerings, and we're super excited to talk about this new product that we launched in spring 2019, so April, called Dynamics 365 for Customer Insights. But before we get into the product, I actually wanted to spend some time talking about why is it important. Only if my clicker works. All right, I probably am going to use this here. There you go. Everything that we do around at Microsoft, and specifically in Business Applications Group, is centered around customer experiences. As we know, customer needs are changing. They're ever increasing. They're ever growing in terms of the expectations that they have from organization in terms of the experiences. They're looking for a seamless experience regardless of where they are, what channel they're operating in, what devices they're connecting on. They want the experience to be connected, seamless. It's also interesting to note that as we're interacting with more and more customers in the organizations, we're realizing that they want this relationship to be mutually beneficial. So between a brand and the customer, if the brand is collecting their data, is collecting all the information about the customer, they want those brands and those organizations to put that data to good use and leverage that data to understand them and hence personalize and make those experiences relevant for them. And this is pretty much substantiated with the numbers that we're seeing up on the slide here. 91% of customers are more likely to shop with brands that recognize, recommend, and promote content that's relevant to them. Or 81%, it's a pretty high number of buyers, want brands to get to know them and understand them, and then know when to approach them and when not to. That's the customer expectation. But let's talk a little bit about the reality. Clearly, there's a gap. There's a gap in the expectation of the customers and what organizations are able to deliver today. Again, seeing the numbers up on the screen, 65% of customers are actually pretty frustrated with the inconsistent experience that they get across the channels. Or 74% of customers are actually frustrated with the irrelevant content that is showed to them, the number of times it's showed during the day, right? And then what's really alarming and scary for businesses to think about is that number, the third number up on the screen, which is 61% of customers stopped doing business with one of the brands that they were interacting with just because of their frustrated customer experience. So that's a pretty high number. I'm probably interacting with 5 or 6 standard brands that I tend to buy and shop from. And if I stop doing business with one of them, it's a pretty major hit for that one brand. I'm not saying I spend a lot of money, just saying that think about it in aggregation, right? So this is really stemming. It's, the customer experience is pretty much, customers come and go in blink of an eye. The adoption and abandonment is happening so quickly that it leaves you with very little opportunity to maintain that experience and maintain that opportunity to keep that customer intact. And hence, it's becoming more and more imperative for organizations to invest in technologies, invest in customer experiences to be able to keep that relationship going. So, and I'm sorry, I find this really inconvenient to stand here, but my clicker isn't working, so I'm just going to stay here. But so let's talk a little bit about why is it hard. So we understand, and so do organizations, that customer experiences are important. Clearly, personalization is one key criteria and top priority, and a way that businesses think that they can advance their customer relationships. So the good news is organizations are spending a lot of time and resources in bringing together this data and collecting this information. But the bad news is that most of this data lives in disconnected, siloed systems. So that's one piece of it, right? Data is there, they're collecting it, but it's not used appropriately to contribute to or to enhance that customer experience. The other thing to consider is what personalization may mean for one organization may not necessarily mean the same to the other. There's so many approaches to delivering personalization, as well as so many criteria that help build personalization, that it's very different with every organization. Think about the data sources you need to consider. Think about so many input points, so many devices that the data is coming in from that organizations need to collect and use and unify to be able to then deliver personalization across so many different channels. And the way they're delivering it, it could be through an email campaign, it could be through web personalization, it could be an offer, it could be a one-on-one interaction, right? So there's no single bullet to be successful with a standard personalization approach. Still not working, so going back here. And this is where a new emerging category of products or solutions has come into market called Customer Data Platform, also known as CDPs. Now we're seeing, and we've been working with some analysts and researchers to identify that those companies that are investing in a CDP and are able to realize the benefit of that unified data and insights are actually seeing significant results. We're looking at numbers as high as 5 to 10% increase in the revenue gains, as well as reduction in 15 to 25% in their cost, the operating cost, due to this efficiency that they bring in with this unified data. So again, there is the foundation of customer experiences lies in the ability to bring together all that data into this one single place. And this kind of explains the market opportunity. It's a massive market. Gartner estimates this to be close to a $1 billion market by end of this year, 2019. If you look at past 4 years, any company investing in the CDP space or building on top of CDP technology, I think in the past 4 years, they've received about $700 million in funding. It's a big number. It shows the growth in the space. And the key reason for that is more and more companies are spending almost 2/3 of their marketing budget in trying to drive that customer acquisition and customer retention and customer growth, which is powered, built in this unified view of customer data. Having said that, despite all the money that's being spent by enterprises in this space, only 10% of the companies are actually able to leverage a true CDP solution, or are actually able to leverage a unified CDP solution. And of those 10% companies, only 5% of companies are actually seeing results. Your machine is insisting on restarting. So our vision for Microsoft's vision for those organizations is to really bring together that data into one single space, so unify all that data and deliver insights that ultimately help organizations power those customer-centered experiences and processes. And we are doing this with our product, Dynamics 365 Customer Insights. I'll reset it for later for now. With Dynamics 365 for Customer Insights, we are making it super easy for organizations to bring in their data. So connect all the data from different data sources, bring it easily into one single place, and then gain that holistic view of the customers. Once you have that single data, that single customer profile, organizations can then use it to gain insights or predict customer intent or drive those customer-centric processes and experiences. We're also working very hard, and due credit to Satish's engineering team, to make sure that this solution is adaptable and configurable and extendable. And like most of the other Dynamics 365 applications, we are allowing organizations to bring in their own custom APIs, they build their own custom apps or build their own custom AI models on top of customer insights to be able to extend it and meet the unique needs of their business. And lastly, but most importantly, we want this to be a super reliable, productive, and trusted platform that you're deploying your solutions on. So we are making it super easy for you to get started quickly with customer insights because it's out-of-the-box application. But at the same time, we help support full data privacy, GDPR compliance, as well as maintain control over your data, which is super important when it comes to customer data in today's world. So what I wanted to do next is spend some time talking about our approach and how are we actually making this a reality for organizations. So when we think about customer insights, we think about 4 key phases. The first phase is around data unification. It's all about bringing your data together. Now, this data could be living in internal sources. It could be living in external sources or third-party data sources. It could be transactional. It could be behavioral. It could be demographic, social. It doesn't matter. We are helping you bring all of that data super quickly and easily with our pre-built connectors. So we have the ability to tap into Microsoft's Power Platform, which has 200 plus odd out-of-box connectors that lets you connect customer insights to pretty much most of the data sources that you might be using out there. So once you bring in this data, the next step is around data unification. So this is the part where once the data has been orchestrated, it's about systematically cleaning up the data, putting it in a schematized fashion, and then using a common identifier to stitch all that data together. So we call it famously call it the 3 M's, which is map, match, and merge. So this is what's happening in the data unification step of the product. What we also do in this stage is enrich that data. We are enriching these customer segments and profiles with intelligent audience signals. So we have the power of Microsoft Graph, where we can bring in values such as brand interest or brand affinity or user interest and user preferences, and bring that data through our proprietary intelligent signals and add value to those customer profiles and enrich them. The next step is once you have these rich customer profiles, it's about applying analytics. It's about applying artificial intelligence and machine learning models on top of it to be able to derive value. So what that really helps you do is come up with the right metrics for your business or come up with the right insights regarding your customers and get guidance on what that next best action should be to be able to support that customer journey. And then ultimately, it's about taking action on those insights by leveraging, we can tap into, again, our Microsoft Power Platform. So think about things like leveraging Microsoft Flow to create workflows that are triggered based on a certain insight or event. Or think about leveraging Microsoft Power Apps, which help you build custom apps like a clienteling app. So if you're a retail store or a banking organization, you can actually use the insights for your customer from the customer data and create a clienteling, a meet and greet app. So when somebody walks into a bank or a retail store, they exactly know who their customer is, and they're able to leverage that app to be able to connect with that customer better and drive that better experience. So it's not just about data unification and insights, but it's really about taking the action on that data and making it real by powering those personalized customer experiences. So we talked about examples, right, of what those processes may look like. So if you were to think about it in context of line of business applications, say for a marketing organization, with those rich, super micro-targeted segments, you can actually get very precise with your ad targeting. So marketing teams they exactly know, what that prospective customer looks like, what ads are probably going to resonate better, what will help them convert that prospect into a customer. Or think about driving very personalized campaigns and offers or content for your existing customers or prospects, right? So those are typical use cases that you would see in a marketing organization. Now let's shift gears and talk about a sales organization. You have an existing customer, right? So from a prospect, you've moved to an existing customer. In an existing customer space, think about increasing the lifetime value. So use cases such as think about upsell or cross-sell or a recommendation for an existing customer and increasing that wallet share by providing more and more services or products to your existing customer and capitalizing on those revenue opportunities. And then again, if you think about the service side of it, so it's that post-purchase journey, right? On service side, think about how with that single unified view of customers, customer service representatives can accelerate case resolution. They exactly know, they have all the knowledge and information about a specific customer. They exactly know, what were the different, interaction points, what could potentially be, the resolution for their problem, and actually route and accelerate the case processing. Think about things like predicting customer intent and knowing or getting the signals to know that a very high-value customer is likely to churn. So be able to present an offer to an existing customer to hold them back and hold that business back and give them the right retention offer to keep that business going. So these are just few use cases that we are commonly seeing in our customer base and how they're leveraging our technology. But I want you to see this from the lens of a customer. I want to play next a video from Tivoli. They're one of our early adopter customers. For those of you who don't know Tivoli, it's an amusement park in Copenhagen, Denmark. And they've been on this journey with us for a while, and they're already seeing some really great results. So I'd like to leave you with a video and then invite Satish on stage.
Tivoli is the second oldest theme park in the world
isn't
and
working,
the
so you'll
most
have to stay
popular
around
attraction in Denmark, with more than 4.5 million guests each year.
So I just said,
in our gardens, we have the motto, always like never before, meaning a lot of things stays, but also we are introducing new rides every year. We are renewing ourselves.
One of the things we are proud of here in Tivoli is the focus on customer experience.
People come here for a lot of different reasons. Some come just to take a stroll, others with their kids to enjoy the rides, and each of their needs are different. And our job is to find out what they prefer and make sure that they enjoy their stay as much as possible.
We do have already data on our annual card holders, our ticket guests, even the rides will be registered. We want to take that together with the digital footprints like newsletters sent out, website visits, the choice of Dynamics 365 customer insights, make that data easily accessible. And we want to bring that together and to bring it live and actionable for the individual guests. So we basically can serve the individual much more targeted to make them come more often, stay longer, visit more rides, visit more restaurants.
If our guests have been reading about a special concert, we'll be able to make a personalized marketing promotion to that guest. And we created this loyalty program called Tivoli Lux, where we designed some special benefits driven by insights on their visits in the garden and their engagement.
The individual conductor may in the future approach a guest, know what concert you attended last summer, know what preference you have in food, beverage, rides, and actually find out how this conductor can serve that guest better.
We have a lot of different business types. Microsoft helps us to consolidate the input from the various systems, which helps us to succeed delivering above our guests' expectations.
We believe that customer insights can help us hit better, and we can empower the employees with that knowledge to be even more personal, to have our guests be more pleased when they leave the garden.
The best part of my job is to be able to create personalized experience for our guests and to work in a magical place like this. Who could ask for more?
All right. I love that video. Okay, so quick thing. How many people have heard of Tivoli, have been to Tivoli at some point? Oh, wow. How many people have been to an amusement park in their life? Stefan, I'll take you there after this. Cool. So we love this example. We have a lot of customers that we work with, but we love this because a lot of us can relate to it. So I'll get into that. But first, let me talk to you about the product truth behind Dynamics 365 Customer Insights. This is a category that is called, Customer 360, all these wonderful things. But the product truth behind it, to be honest, has been light. And I think that's where we've spent a lot of time in the last 12 months to really get the basics right. And hopefully we can show you how all of you can make use of it. So first thing, our vision and value pillar, it is to enable every organization to unify all of their customer data to harness it for intelligent insights and actions. So being an engineer, that is a mouthful for me, but it means a lot. Because if you look at it, customer data does not sit in one system, right? So it might sit in Dynamics, it might sit somewhere else, it might sit in Siebel, SAP, and even with the announcements today, it could be in Salesforce as well, right? So the idea is, wherever your data is sitting, we want to be able to give you a way to bring that data in, unify it, and do something with it, okay? sounds fair enough, and I'll show you exactly how Tivoli is able to do it, and hopefully it'll kind of tickle some thoughts on how you can make use of it. Now, the first thing we do is eliminate data silos and unify customer data. Like I said, wherever it is sitting, either in an on-prem location, online solution, whichever vendor it is, we have a way to bring that data in, and I'll show you how. The second thing, which is strategically important, is the fact that once you unify the data, we actually put that in CDM form. So how many people have heard of the Microsoft Common Data Model? So what we do is to think about the customer entity and the activities in that CDM. What we do is we unify that data, produce it in that CDM form for the customer entity and activities, and we persist that in an Azure data lake, either securely in the SaaS service, or if you have your own tenant, if your customer or organization has your own Azure tenant, we can actually write that cooked unified data into that data lake as well. So super powerful in terms of, hey, you can use our APIs if you want, or if you want no cliffs extensibility, you can use that cooked data in your data lake to do more with it. The second thing is enable powerful AI and insights. So somebody very, very famous said, I won't say who, is AI was very popular in 1982. If you go look at the trends, it's actually very true. And it's very popular now as well. The big difference is the fact that now we have the data, right? And the way I think about what I want people to miss if Dynamics 365 Custom Insights did not exist tomorrow is the fact that it is the best way for you to shape your customer data to make it ready for AI, right? So think about for a second. So when you think about churn, next best action, all of that sounds great on a slide. But how do you shape your data? And today your data might be dirty, sitting in various sources. How do you shape it so that you can make it ready for AI? And that's where Custom Insights really, really shines. So we'll show you, just by having that data gravity. And then, one of the things that we're working on is the fact that templatizing some of this, right? So we have a lot of data scientists at Microsoft, super hard to hire, by the way. But then how can we democratize some of that? So we might do a churn model that works well on CDM. And then we basically get you to the 80-yard line so that you can take it and customize it if you wish to. Now, super hard problem to templatize. A churn model in an amusement park versus a car dealership versus a beer manufacturer, very different, right? So we're still thinking through this, and we'll kind of share more about that. Third thing, enrich customer data with Microsoft proprietary signals. So obviously, Microsoft has touch points with hundreds of millions or billions of consumers. So at an aggregated level, we're able to do things like, enrich customer data with brand affinities and interests. So think of, if Virgin Atlantic is a customer of Customer Insights, at an aggregated level, we're able to enrich that data saying, hey, people like this individual are into these brands. So it could be Delta, Virgin Atlantic, British Airways, and their interests could be tropical vacations. Right? So it's an aggregated level, but it tells you a lot more about those users that you might not know from just your customer data, right? And that's a true differentiator for, there's only one or two or three companies on planet Earth that can do something like that. The fourth thing, which is probably the most important thing, so I never, ever talk about Customer Insights without the Power Platform. So the fact that you can actually take this unified customer data and you can actually analyze with Power BI, right, is a big deal. And we obviously have out-of-the-box connectors for that, and I'll show you what that looks like. And then if you want to act on it with a Power App, right, so think about a bank. You go into a bank and you look at a greeter application. They welcome you with, a greeter application. If it's built in Power App, you can leverage that insights data from Customer Insights. And the last one is Microsoft Flow, which is business, customer journey orchestration. So you could say things like, hey, if a customer's churn has gone up 10%, trigger an email to the account manager or whatever it might be, right? So that is, again, the full picture is where I think we really shine versus kind of the silos, because anybody can unify data, to be honest, right? It's a tough problem, but it's not sort of like a blocker, but the fact that how we tie into the rest of the Microsoft ecosystem, leverage a lot of the Microsoft research work is also something that we're really excited to share. Now, before I get into the product, the three personas. So as I go through the demo, you'll notice these three. The first is the administrator. So this is the dude or the dudess or the individual that actually is responsible for ingesting all the data and unifying the data, right? So this person typically has access to all the data. The second is the business analyst, which is once you've unified the data, how do you segment on top of it? How do you discover, create new segments? How do you create measures, et cetera, on top of the data? And the last one is the business end user. And this is the salesperson or the marketing individual or the service professional that is looking at this 360 view of the data. And if we do our job right, they might never hear about customer insights, right? Because they're using a Dynamics 365 system, they're using a Power BI report, they're using a Power App, or they could be even using Siebel or Salesforce. They're just seeing that 360 view of the customer right there. Make sense? So with that, let me show you some product. So in the case of Tivoli, let's go back to a little bit of reality. So Tivoli actually has 4 key data sets. They use Dynamics 365. They have a loyalty system, which is something that is built custom for the amusement park industry. They have e-commerce data, and they have visits, right? When you go into the park, you basically have to swipe your card, and they register as a user. None of these are sitting in one system. However, from a business model perspective, Tivoli has gone from a model of you pay every time you go into an amusement park to a subscription model. So you basically pay 500 krona for a year. I don't know the actual amount. And then you can go unlimited times for the year. So very, very disruptive from an amusement park perspective, but very scary when you come at that 12-month renewal period, right? So what Tivoli wanted to do is they wanted to basically take all this data and say, hey, if a customer has paid for the subscription and they did not even come in or they did not buy anything at my restaurant, maybe I should give them, I want to detect churn on top of that unified data, and I want to recommend things like, hey, here's a discount, or the best thing apparently to get people back into your amusement park is to give them a Starbucks card, right? But what amount do you give for that Starbucks card? So it could be if the percentage of churn is high and the lifetime value is high based on the unified profile, you might give a larger Starbucks card value than a lower one, right? So this is where probably from a business perspective, this is probably the biggest priority to get right, and this is where kind of customer insights came in very timely. So I'm going to try and get this demo done pretty fast before my Windows restarts. Okay. First world problems. Okay, so here. So Customer Insights is a finished SaaS application. What that means is any one of you can go to our website and get started. Okay, so we have, how many people know what 5x5 is? It's an inside thing. I don't know. Okay, so it's essentially the fact that you can go to our website, try this thing in 5 seconds, and in 5 minutes, you can actually start using the product with demo data, of course, right? But you can get a full taste of it. So I highly encourage everybody to go home or on your flight back, definitely try it out. There's no other CDP solution in the market that allows you to do that. And I challenge you to go find one that does it, because we struggled a lot. But we finally got it right, hopefully. But do give it a spin. So what you see here is the application. And the first thing I'm actually going to go through is the administrator persona, which is how do I bring in all the data, right? Super simple. The first thing is, these are the sources that Tivoli has. They have data from Dynamics, Sitecore, Falcon, I think, which is their subscription loyalty system, events, blah, blah, blah. Now, Tivoli is obviously expanding as well. They might make an acquisition. They might get another source or whatever. So at that point, you can actually go bring in, and this is how you know it's real code, you can actually go bring in new sources using our Power Platform connectors, right? So if you're familiar with Power BI, you know those connectors. So all those connectors are also Customer Insights connectors as well. So typically, if we don't have a connector for your system, you can actually bring it in as a CSV file. So that's where pretty much we've never seen a scenario where a customer was blocked bringing in their customer data because we did not have a connector for them. Okay? So again, you can use this for your online sources, on-prem sources, through our gateway technology. Now, once you basically let me just refresh this guy. So once you actually bring in all your data, that is when the fun starts. So the first step is what we call map. So think about this for a second. You have all this random data that is coming in from multiple systems, right? So it could be Siebel, it could be Dynamics, it could be a random reservation system. And what we do is we try to identify what is in this data. So as much as me and my team would like to get credit for this, this is a lot of Microsoft research work that was productized. So think about it. It'll detect first names, last names. I don't know how, but they detect Polish ID numbers too. So the idea is, you can bring in like 500 data sources, and for the most part, we will auto-detect what's in that data. And then if you're happy with it, you can go ahead for a POC. We're hoping you go next. Typically, for Customer 360 projects, this is where people spend months, right? A lot of consultant effort, etc. The second thing is what we like to call merge, which is where, now that you've brought all of this data, there are no keys between this data, right? So you might have, there is no key. So this is where we call, this is probably the crux of the problem, which is creating keys where keys don't exist. So this is where you're able to say, hey, the first name here to the last name here, the email here to the email here, and other identifiers. So Customer Insights kind of goes and inspects all the data and tries to figure out where we might be able to find things. And then all of this is configurable. So for example, you can go in and start doing things like fuzzy match. We don't have it here, but you're able to do things like, hey, between your first name and your last name here, do a fuzzy match. So things like, Bill Gates and William Gates being the same person, we're able to detect it. Also for my job security as well, right? So things like that. There's a lot of inherent semantic understanding of the customer domain when you do these things, right? So that, and for the most part, we can also recommend a lot of these rules. So again, from a POC perspective, we're hoping it's next, and when you want to make it real, you can actually go do that. So Tivoli basically got in all of those sources. I think they mapped between names, IDs, emails, and family names and stuff like that, right? But very, very configurable experience. And then the last thing is, once you've unified the data, you merge it. And what happens at the end of this, and this is key from a technical perspective, is we populate that customer entity and the activities entity and make it ready for you. So everything is API-fied, but you can also go directly get it from the data lake as well, right? Now, if you want to use our apps, you can do that. So here's the segmentation experience, which is where you can go create segments on top of that unified data, right? So you can basically say, hey, for customers that did not visit my park in the last 12 months, right? Tivoli is not able to do that because these are two different systems. So they're able to unify that data and do the segmentation on top of that data. And the segments can be exported either into a CSV file, or let's say you want to send an email to customers likely to churn from Denmark. You can actually export that into Dynamics 365 for marketing if you want to send a newsletter, et cetera, et cetera. So you can assume that based on customer feedback, we will integrate with, be it Adobe, MailChimp, wherever our customers are pointing us to, we integrate from an outbound perspective as well for this segment. So think of Customer Insights as an enabler versus, the place that you go for everything. Now, again, I've gone through the data administrative view, ingest data, unify the data, and once you set that up, it happens on a recurring basis, very configurable and all of that good stuff. If you add a new data source, you just come in here and do it. So think about this today. It happened today. A lot of these projects are heavy consultant efforts, right? So what we're trying to do is make it more of a configurable experience and basically helping you use a lot of the AI and learnings that we have across Microsoft, not just our team, so that you can solve this tough problem. Now, I'm going to switch into a little bit of the business analyst again. So everything that we have in that unified data profile is API-fied. However, we also have out-of-the-box connectors for Power BI. So what Tivoli did was they brought in all of that data from Customer Insights And basically, they're doing some churn analysis. So what they wanted to do is they wanted to find patterns of who are my best customers and who are my worst customers from a churn perspective, to see if there were, key influences they were able to figure out to basically drive some action, right? So again, a lot of the companies that we work with are already Power BI users, right? So that makes it easier. But even if you're not a Power BI user, this is a good way for you to become a Power BI user, because where else would you do this, right? Now, there's obviously a lot of other things. We have connectors. You can use our APIs and connect to it, but we've made that out-of-the-box integration with Power BI and the rest of Power Platform so easy that we're hoping that this makes a ton of sense, okay? Now, this is one example. So you could basically share this Power BI report within your organization. So to my point about business users, if we do our job right, might never hear about customer insights, right? So when you share this Power BI report, nobody will probably know. You'll all just, see the segments, you'll see this information. All of this is coming from the unified profile. Now, again, one of the things is, so if you look at this, this is a view, again, theoretical customer. Niels is fake. But all of this data is accurate, meaning the sources and everything, right? So if you look at it here, immediately I can see for Niels, I brought in data from all of these sources, right? So the awareness, the churn score is not just on one source, it is on that unified profile. So in the case of Tivoli, they basically defined churn by if you did not come into the park for 6 months, if you didn't visit one of the restaurants at least once, and I think you didn't attend a concert or something, but very custom that you'd only be able to do from across the board, okay? And this is, again, a single view of the customer. Now, again, this is all about creating keys where keys don't exist. So this is coming from about 6 different sources. And we were able to tie it together based on the rules that they defined, right? So you can go either very precise or very loose depending on the use case. So if it's a marketing use case, you might go loose on the fuzziness. If it's a finance use case, you probably don't want to, but it's very configurable, right? And that's how we build this thing. So if you look at it, this individual went to the gardens, they redeemed a promotion, blah, blah, blah. All of that coming from different sources, and we put it all together, okay? This is just one example. Again, you can build your own custom Power BI reports however you want it. This is very branded for Tivoli. So the next thing that I'm actually going to show is, again, sticking to the business user persona, which is from within Dynamics. I think the Wi-Fi is on and off. So within Dynamics 365, you can actually see the same information I showed you in Power BI right within Dynamics. So when you're a customer, if you're an inside sales rep talking to a customer, you can basically see that single view of the customer right within Dynamics 365 for sales, marketing, wherever it might be, right? So think about this. There's a person on my team who's been in the CRM industry for 25 years. And he tells me this has always been the promise of CRM, having that single view of the customer right where you do your job, right? And that's what we're trying to do for the first time. Now, that single view of the customer might require you to unify a bunch of data. That's what Customer Insights does. And we light that up in every socket we can find. So this is one example. So you can go get this package from AppSource. Now, think about the other scenarios. Think about Office, right? In a B2B scenario, when I'm emailing a customer and I double click on that customer's profile in that Office card, it might not just come from one of the sources, all of this data might pop up there as well, right? So directionally, you know where we're going. We're going to light this up. Obviously, we love Dynamics the most because that's where a lot of the usage and stuff is today for our common customers. But think of us as working very aggressively to do this among other sockets as well. Office 365, working with our ISVs to use this data right within the applications, et cetera, et cetera. And that was pretty much it. So if you look at the full flow, right, from a Tivoli perspective, how they were able to ingest all of that data, right, various data sources, and then an administrator was able to map, match, and merge. And by the way, just Tivoli we met them in November 2018, I believe, and they went live on this initial set scenario, I believe, by February end, right? So if you look at it, that's about 2 or so months in the lightest month of the year. And if you ask people on my team, they'll tell you that 90% of the time that we basically took was to figure out who had access to the data. Once you figure out who has access to data, it's pretty straightforward, but that's the hardest part, right? Get the access to data, map, match, merge it, or unify it, and then you basically work on use cases. What kind of segment are you trying to build on top of that data? And then you're basically like, okay, who are the business processes, which are the business users, and which business processes do you want to basically infuse this into, right? So using all of that data to drive kind of intelligence into these business processes. So that was the Tivoli scenario. And depending on, I think we have a little bit more time. So what I'm going to show you is something that Einat and team from our end kind of shared with some of you folks at a workshop yesterday, just to plant some seeds in your head, right? So you saw the Tivoli scenario. The fundamentals are all pretty much the same for any business, right? There's a bunch of data sources. There's a bunch of unique unification rules. So this is a fake-ish customer, but think of it as a Contoso hotel. So all of you hopefully stayed at a hotel or an Airbnb. So in this case, they have a lot of personas. They have a lot of data sources, right? And they want to create a unified view from all of these various sources. They wanted to realize the promise of a unified profile. They want to create actionable insights for a marketing campaign. So if I'm a business traveler living at a hotel versus I came to your hotel for the first time in the last 3 years, there might be 2 different messages. And again, using that to power sales insights, sales scenarios through our Sales Insights app. So again, I won't show you the product here, but I'll just quickly show you some of the screenshots so you can kind of get an idea. And by the way, one best practice that we've learned is if you cannot get your POC live for Customer Insights in 3 months, you're probably thinking too big, right? The key thing is to get a small enough but a powerful use case that you can get done in about 3 months, and then magic happens. Because it's very easy to add more sources. It's very easy to add more business use cases, etc., than to kind of get stuck up in the first part with what I like to call the world hunger problem. So in the case of Contoso Hotels, again, think about all the personas, right? You've got a marketing manager, a hotel manager, a pre-sales rep, and you've got tons of data. Not all of them are sitting in one system, right? It's not Dynamics, it's not Salesforce, it's not a custom system. It's sitting all over the place. And what we tried to do is, obviously, Customer Insights is built on Azure, but the good news is since it's a finished SaaS application, you don't need to worry about all of that stuff if you don't want to, right? You can use our finished SaaS application to do all of that. But if you want to do more advanced scenarios, you can actually go in below. You can actually go into the Azure Data Lake and use all of those services. So that's a key differentiator for us, the fact that we have a finished SaaS application that's easy to use, get started. And if you want to do more advanced scenarios, we have a no-cliffs extensibility story that we believe is something that Microsoft only can uniquely do. So again, multiple sources, but the promise of, what do you want to do with this 360 view of the customer? There's all these things around market analysis, customer retention, customer service, trade promotion, blah, blah, blah. So in this case, again, going back to the basics, what are the minimum set of data sources they needed to bring in to light that up, right? So in this case, they brought in some hotel data, some of the service data, and some of the sales data, right? In this case, we lucked out. It's all in Dynamics, but even if it's not, it's okay. But think about the categories of data, right? Think about the categories of data that you need to bring in to make this a unified profile. And then in this case, they were very clear that they wanted to match on full name and email, right? But this is a very, very tough problem, though. And I think this is where, as we began this journey, we're like, being engineers, we're like, what if we make a mistake? It's okay, because if it's a marketing use case, it's okay if you get a few things wrong, but there's probably a few use cases you don't want to get wrong. And true story, I won't go into names, but there was a pretty big hotel chain that actually went through a merger, I think about a year ago. So if you look at it, I was a customer for both of their previous acquisitions. And they did a customer 360, I'm guessing, effort. And all of a sudden, my name became Mandy Thomas in that system, right? So this happened about 8 months ago, and it was the biggest light bulb for me as we were working through this. And guess what? My wife's name is not Mandy. So that caused other issues. But essentially, true story, not knows this. So essentially what happened there was they basically did a merge on an address, right? And it turns out that when I went to college, that address is not just me, right? So they basically did a match on address and went light on the name. I don't know what happened. And once they did that, they could not find the lineage. They could not tell me where they got that Mandy from, right? So that made two features come into Customer Insights. One thing is we always provide data lineage. So even if we make a mistake, so Customer Insights is not a master data management system, right? It's an eventual consistency system. So if you make a mistake, you always go update the source, right? And you can configure the rules. So in this case, we would have been able to tell you saying, hey, we got Mandy from this source, and it's because this is the rule that fired. And if something went wrong, you can go make that rule stricter, looser, or whatever, right? And then here again, in the case of Contoso Hotels, they had a match on full name and email. And this is a thing that we didn't talk about. So enrich with hotel brands and categories. This is where, again, the Contoso Hotels can go and say, people like me. What are the typical brands that I like? So if my brand affinity is towards just making something up, Marriott, and I'm actually the Westin Hotel, I might give myself a very different marketing message than if I'm a lifetime Marriott customer, right? So we're able to enrich that data. So think of this from a technical perspective. There's two new attributes in that table. In the customer attribute table, we have two new columns that say brand affinity and brand interest, and we populate it with these two things, right? And it is specific to each of the industries. So again, very, very differentiated and something that we do primarily in North America right now. And then configure activities to show on the customer timeline. So obviously the timeline can be super noisy. Like I don't want to know every time you tweet about stuff or every time I check into something. So you can always go configure what activities you want to show up in that timeline, which is the view that we showed you before. And then finally, the promise of the 360 view of the customer. Again, this is one view, but since everything is API-fied, you can go build your own pretty, Power BI dashboards or wherever you might be doing your job. And then again, the key thing is, being able to create customer and business measures. So things like, total stays, right? How do you calculate total stays when you're getting data from all these things? You're able to go create these measures on top of that unified system. And these are some of the measures that they were able to create. Now, going back to my point about if customer, like the biggest thing that Customer Insights does for organizations is shaping all of your customer data and making it ready for AI. So here, once we do the unification of the data, you can actually export this into an Azure blob storage, right, in your tenant or in our tenant. And you can basically say, hey, I want to export my customer and my activity entities. And today, if you use AML, you can actually you can use an AML workbook to point to that Azure blob storage with this shaped customer data, and then you can do your churn model or next best action or whatever it might be, right? Now, one of the things that we're planning to do is we're going to give we have data scientists on our team, so we're planning to do some templates. So we might give you some stuff that you can get started with, but for the most part, you can actually use AML to point to this cooked data in the Azure data lake. Again, something that's very differentiated because there's a lot of talk about AI being out of the box and it just works. No, it doesn't, right? It is very unique to industries. It is very unique to your business process. So churn for you might be different for churn for another company in your same industry. So we give this no cliffs extensibility where you can go use Azure ML, or if everything is in CDMified form, you can use our templates, but that's in our trial instance, right? Beyond our trial instance, it's not very useful. But we're thinking about kind of open sourcing all of these models so that you guys can look at it and make it your own. Okay? So if there's any feedback, etc., come find us after. And then let's say the output of that churn model is a churn score. What do? We actually go append that churn score into that customer profile, right? And then you can start doing things. So within Customer Insights, you can actually connect to an Azure ML service where you've published that model, and then you can say things like, hey, I want to basically bring in the customer recommendations at churn, and guess what? We give it some entities, and it gives back an entity or an attribute. In this case, we're giving it customer service usage and hotel activity, and it brings back a churn score, and we're basically joining it by customer ID, right? So this is something that we've found that is useful across, like, we work with some of the biggest car companies, some of the biggest amusement parks, some of the biggest alcohol manufacturers, and this is a model that works for them, right? Where we give this no-cliffs extensibility, templatized for CDM, but very customizable for your business process. And then that's it. So this is something that we're previewing today. And so if there's any interest, happy to work with a lot of you one-on-one from the engineering team, so we can kind of work together to make this real. And then again, the whole, just to make it real, the output of that ML model becomes an attribute in that unified profile. So what does that mean? You can actually start doing Power BI on top of it. You can build, so you can actually make use of that churn score versus kind of having it in a separate silo, right? So there's a full feedback loop of unify the data, run the model. The output of the model basically is enriches the data unified profile, on top of which you can do things, right? So this is where things like, if a customer's churn score goes up by 10%, send an email is possible because that flow is operating on that customer entity, right? So might not seem like a big deal, but it's a big deal when you want to go do this business process. And then, of course, you can go build measures and segments on top of this thing. In the case of this, one of the segments you can actually export into Dynamics 365 for marketing if you want to send an email. But again, you can integrate this with anything else as well. So if you use MailChimp or whatever else, you can actually export the segment into that and be able to send it. So if you use sales marketing lists in our sales app, you can actually get the output of a segment into that and basically take it from there as well. And then the final thing is the Power BI report. With all the announcements today, we thought we should kind of highlight this story. So again, you can connect from Power BI into Customer Insights. You can basically figure out, again, everything behind Customer Insights is an entity. So that makes things so much easier. There's no virtual entity, blah, blah, blah. It's a real entity on which you can operate. So you can connect to Power BI, get all of this data. And again, you can get it, same information you can get in Dynamics 365 for sales or whichever else, wherever else your business users are. You can create a flow on top of that data. And then finally, if you look at the relationship assistant and the next best action, you can actually configure the next best action to use data from Customer Insights, right? So this is a whirlwind one, but essentially from a hotel perspective, again, how do I bring in the data? How do I unify the data? What are the segments I create on the data? And then finally, once I have all of the data, how do I generate, how do I do AI on top of it and use the output of all of that to drive business processes? Make sense? So finally, I'll quickly go through this. I think this is probably the closing thing. But 3 quick things. One of the things that we spent a lot of time that I don't know, it's probably not the most visible thing, is Customer 360 or Customer Insights, a category. Whenever I visited a lot of customers about 12 months ago just to figure out, what should we do, etc. And a lot of the Customer 360 projects had been going for 5 years, 3 years. I'm like, what is going on here? And so one of the things that we spent a lot of time was, how do we make this problem very easy to get started and get going, right? All the way from the top of the funnel, the 5x5 experience from our website, how can you get started with 1 or 2 or 3 sources, etc. So that's the start quickly part. And then the AI-powered insights, even though we call AI, it's not just what you do with the data. There's a lot of AI within the app. How do we identify the attributes? There's a lot of AI hidden in the product that we don't talk about, but that's something that we spend a lot of time on. And then the last piece is, I think, the platform story, right? there's a lot of the customer 360 customer insight solutions unify the data and then they lock it up, right? They meter the access to the data. So what we do is we unify the data, you have full access through the APIs, and we allow you to get that into your Azure Data Lake so you can go crazy with it, right? No Cliff's extensibility to whatever you want to do. And then, of course, the fact that all of this is sitting in Azure, we have, every time I go to our security center in Microsoft, I'm fascinated. There's a ton of just compliance and security resources working behind the scenes. So you can, the fact that you're trusting us with your most strategic data, which is your customer data, is something that we take very seriously. And all the firepower, with Microsoft kind of helps make this real for our customers too. And with that, the final thing, I think this is the last slide. We have a ton of video. Dynamics 365 Customer Insights. Our CEO also did a video on Customer Insights. We could probably share the link on that. So very, very strategic effort for our company. And again, I've worked at Microsoft for 13 years. There's no product that I've been part of that has had so much customer field and just partner excitement. So we're just hoping to work with a lot of you to kind of make this the next big business success for Microsoft and for the Dynamics Group. So you can go try. So if there's one thing you did, please go do a trial and tell your friends about it. So with that, questions will be around. Come on up, Shruti. Cool, thank you.